Where he had the accident, he hit an overpass, or I should say, under the overpass. He hit the column, and they sent a police car over. And as soon as he walked up to the cop, he was completely annihilated. They arrested him on the scene for DUI. There came a time when, I have my event company, Exotics Rally, which I mainly focus on car shows now and small weekend rallies. But at the time, we were doing different events. And there was this guy, Alex, who at the time, he had an LP 640 Roadster, a matte black one. And it was a factory matte black Roadster. And I believe at the time he had bought it from Manhattan Motor Cars. And he used to, come around to the different events. He portrayed himself at the time as this, high profile cabinet builder and did like kitchens for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I believe his father was a prominent dentist. And he used to come to the events, and he was just like this wild single guy. And at the time, I was going through my divorce, and I had a girlfriend. He came to one of my events, and he felt that one of my girlfriend's friends was very attractive. So I kind of hooked him up, and we started hanging out. And we'd go to the city, we'd go to dinner, and he was always, out in his Lambo, having fun, spending money. Everything seemed on the up and up. And then there was one night where I did a little event at a nightclub that a friend of mine owned out in Long Island. And Alex came to the event. He got completely annihilated. He could not even stand. He was falling all over the place. He was grabbing this girl, and he was making her feel really uncomfortable. And he was being really obnoxious. And I grabbed him and said, listen, you can't drive. You're not going anywhere. And I was going to take him and put him in like a hotel for the night and this and that. I knew the owner of the club, and I knew all the valets. And one of the head valet was a good friend of mine. I became a fixture at this nightclub at one point in my life. Everybody thought I was an owner there, but no, I just spent an awful lot of money. And I had my own private table. So I went to the head valet and I said, listen, give me his keys. You can't let him drive. He goes, oh no, I already took his keys off the board and this and that. And there came a time in the night where Alex went and just gave the guy a couple $100 and took his keys. All I know is that all of a sudden I get a phone call from Alex that he's on the phone and he's like crying that he just crashed. And I said, my God, how did you get your keys? I'm fine, but I'm not fine. So I don't even know what to do here. And I said, well, where are you? And he couldn't explain where he was. Back then, there really wasn't Find My iPhone or anything like that yet. He was trying to explain where he was. And I was going to try to get, I was still involved in like towing companies and stuff like that, trying to get a flatbed over there just to get the car. But he couldn't explain it. He hung up the phone with me. And the next call he made was to 911. And he called them to say, I need a tow. Can you help me? And they said, where are you? And he said, I'm not really sure. And I guess he was able to explain where he had the accident. He hit an overpass, or I should say under the overpass. He hit the column, and they sent a police car over. And as soon as he walked up to the cop, he was completely annihilated. They arrested him on the scene for DUI. They impounded the car. The next day, I went to court and got him out. There was no bail at the time, but I got him out, and they had given him a paper of who impounded the car. I said to him, let me get the car out of the impound for you. I'll help you with that. I wasn't responsible for anything, but I kind of felt bad for the guy. So I took care of it. He didn't have any money on him. They had taken all his stuff. He had no cash on him. So I paid for the car to get out of the impound, and I had a friend of mine pick it up with a flatbed and bring it back to his body shop. And I said to him, my friend, works on Lambos all day long and high-end cars. Let's see what happens. He goes, yeah, well, I have insurance, And at the time, I think he had State Farm. He started going through the insurance claim process. He filed the claim. The insurance company went down to look at the car, and it wasn't totaled. They wrote up, I think it was about $80,000 worth of damage. And my friend that owned the body shop wanted to buy the car. So he turned around and he said to me, he goes, look, you're not going to want this car. The car's got frame damage. I got a lot of work to do to it. I'll tell you what, Keep the check for $80,000 and I'll give you another $80,000 and I'll keep the car. And he's like, no, I want the car. I want to keep the car. It's like one of two and this and that. And he was going on and on how much he loved the car. Crazy story is he wound up getting into a fight with the body shop. And I told the body shop, listen, and the guy's name was Mike from the body shop. I said, listen, Mike, just fix the car. Make the money on the body work. You're going to get paid at night. You'll put in a supplement. You're going to make plenty of money and just get paid and fix the car. He loves the car. He just wants the car. He's like, no, tell him no. Tell him it's a piece of crap. Tell him the car's never going to run right. It's never going to be the same. Tell him I'll give him $100,000. This guy wanted the car. And now I'm in the middle of all this because I refer him to the body shop. And what happens next is the body shop tears the whole car down. Tears it down nut and bolt to 30,000 pieces. And it's all laid out in a booth, labeled, boxes, bins, and everything. And the guy, Alex, turns around and says, I want to pull the car out of there and bring it to another shop. So he wanted to take it to another shop in New Jersey. And he turned around at the body shop and said, no problem, just pay me for the tow, my time, tearing it down, and all these charges. Alex was like, I'm not paying you. That's ridiculous. I never authorized you to do that. And the insurance company hadn't authorized him to do it. It became a lawsuit. Alex hired an attorney. And before you know it, the sheriff went down and seized the car. And the crazy part about the whole story at that time was my friend now was trying to hold me responsible because I introduced him. I said, you're the one I was trying to get the car from him. I have nothing to do with this. You both can sue each other. Do whatever you want. But when this was going through in court, so what happened was they bonded the car out, and it was still a court case because they were still battling each other. But at the time, what you can do is bond the car out, and that bond, it goes in place of the car. Now the car goes to a shop in New Jersey, which was supposedly going to fix the car. I lost track of the insurance claim from there. The guy, Alex, was holding me responsible for introducing him to the body shop. The body shop's trying to hold me responsible for introducing them to Alex, putting them together. And then the body shop hired a private investigator who ultimately finds out that Alex never even paid for this car, that he scammed a guy. So the story went that there was a guy that was having cabinet work done, and that Alex was supposed to do the cabinet work. And this guy was a very, very wealthy guy who had a brain injury. And the guy was I think he was some sort of stock trader or involved in some sort of hedge fund. And the guy had a brain injury and he was disabled from it and couldn't process things normally anymore. And Alex took advantage of him and got the guy to wire money to Manhattan Motor Cars to pay for the Lamborghini. So Alex really stole the car. And then the family was going after him for it. And he was involved in all sorts of lawsuits. And then it also came out with this lawsuit that Alex was married. And that the whole time when he was portraying himself as a single guy, trying to date, at the time, my girlfriend's best friend, he was married, which that impeached his credibility with the court as well. And this became this whole big, huge lawsuit, which ultimately, basically, between the body shop and him, they kind of went each other's own ways, and it just kind of went away. As far as I know, I wasn't involved in it because I didn't receive anything from it. I just know that the guy Alex fell off the face of the earth. It was written up in a couple of different news articles about it, and that the family was suing the guy Alex. I don't know what came of it. I do know that at one point, Alex started sending me all sorts of threatening messages saying that this was all my fault and that, in the long run, he's going to win and put me out of business. And, of course, that never happened. But he was really, out of control. And I think basically what had happened at that point was his wife found out about his infidelity, and that didn't go over so well.
When you're buying a pre-owned car, it is critical to get a professional mechanic to inspect it every time. And so the Lemon Squad is the easiest way to do that and the most affordable. Generally within 24 or 48 hours, they can get somebody on site anywhere in the country with their nationwide network of trained professional mechanics that are going to give you a ton of pictures and a full report of exactly what's going on with this car. It's a great way to avoid scams, and it's a great way to get a very clear picture of the car that you're buying. And this ammunition can make you the shrewdest negotiator negotiator of all. It also makes the drive home a whole lot easier and keeps a little bit more money in your pocket, and I know that you'll love the results from the Lemon Squad. So check them out now at the link in the description below for a special discount and to make sure that you're buying the car that you think you are.